The most dangerous thing in a workshop isn't necessarily a sharp blade or heavy machinery, it is a lack of ideas in my opinion. And as a guy who always works alone in my garage, I hit that wall pretty hard this week. So I decided to just do something. I grabbed this 2017 Veloster seat from a junkyard for $45 just to keep my hands moving, and somewhere along the process I actually started getting some pretty cool ideas, and I ended up being really pumped about it. And now I have a plan for this seat that I'm genuinely excited about, and I will tell you exactly what that is at the end of this video. But before we get into all of that, let me tell you how I even ended up with this seat. There's a junkyard just a couple of minutes from my house, and it's actually really big, I'd say around 50 acres, and they've got just about every car you can think of. So I went there with absolutely no plan, no car in mind, and I was just kind of walking up and down the aisles window shopping, if you will. And I came across this 2017 Hyundai Veloster. It had recently been put out there, which immediately caught my attention because in the past, pulling seats out have been a nightmare. Because you're not allowed to use grinders or cutting tools at this junkyard because all the fluids are still in there. And if the bolts are rusted, you're basically fighting for your life trying to get them out. But since this one was newer, everything came out super easy. I ended up getting the seat out of the car in like 30 seconds. So at that point I figured out why not. I didn't have anything else better to do. It looked decent enough, it had a sporty design, and honestly I've been running out of ideas and getting a little bored. So I thought I'd reupholster it for fun and maybe tweak the design a little bit and just see what happens. So I brought it home and started tearing it down. And I do have to give them some credit here. The engineers who designed this seat actually made it surprisingly straightforward. Once I figured out how everything clipped together, it came apart way easier than I expected. And I actually did not break a single thing. Although, what you don't see is the hour and a half of me carefully figuring it out first, because I was actively trying to avoid breaking something. Now what you just saw was easily the most frustrating part of this entire project. I was trying to remove the headrest cover without cutting or altering it at all. The opening at the bottom is teeny tiny, and my thinking was, if I can get the original off clean, then I should be able to install the new one the exact same way. That did not happen. I fought with this thing for way longer than I'd like to admit, and it just was not coming off. And honestly, after taking a closer look at how it was even assembled in the first place, I'm still not entirely sure how they got it on. So at that point, I had two options: keep wasting time trying to reverse engineer it, or just move on. And since this seat is just for me, I wasn't even sure if I had enough material to do this entire seat in the first place, so I decided to scrap it completely and just focus on the parts that actually matter. And if any of you guys have dealt with one of these before and actually know the trick to getting that headrest off clean, let me know in the comments, because I'm convinced there's a right way to do it. I just could not figure it out. So at this point, I've got the seat broken down about as far as I need to, and one thing I've learned pretty quickly is that no two seats are ever the same. They may look similar on the outside, but once you actually start tearing into them, a lot of the hardware can vary brand to brand, which means for me at least, I'm basically reverse engineering the entire thing from scratch on every project. Now surprisingly, getting off all the plastics was pretty straightforward, but even with all the videos out there, there's still a lot of trial and error involved, so you just kind of have to figure it out as you go. And because of that, there are always a couple of things I do no matter what I'm working on. First of all, attempt not to break anything, because I use pretty much all of the original hardware. The clips, the hooks, and the Velcro, so I take my time pulling everything apart, using seam rippers very carefully, because if you snap something, it's just going to make it harder later. And in this case, a lot of the seat was actually held together with Velcro, which sounds simple, but it was way stronger than I expected, so I just carefully took it off so I can reuse it later. But more than that, the most important thing I do every single time is match marks, because before anything comes apart, I go through and mark how everything lines up, because once you start taking everything apart and cutting those panels, it just turns into a pile of random pieces. And the easiest way to think about it is like a puzzle you scrambled yourself. And those match marks are the only way telling you how to put it back together. So if you break it down, every seat really follows the same core process. First, get everything apart without breaking it. figure out the design, mark up the original skin, cut it apart, reuse all the hardware, transfer those pieces to new material, cut everything out, add sew foam, sew it together, put it back on, boom, done. Congratulations, you are now a professional at upholstery, which simple in theory, but can take a little bit to perfect. But with this seat, I actually had a pretty clear idea what I wanted to do design-wise, and honestly, it didn't need much. There's one thing I've learned with this stuff, especially when you're working with an existing seat, you're designing with a lot of constraints, because the shape is already there, the foam is already molded, and all those internal pull points, the Velcro and all the attachment spots, that's what gives the seat its structure. So I can't really change how the seat functions, I can only change how it looks. And once you understand that, it makes everything a whole lot simpler, because you don't need to redesign everything to make a big difference. And in this case, I just focused on a couple of panels. On both the seat and the backrest, I took two separate sections, combined them into one, and turned it into a single diamond stitch panel so everything flows together nicely. And by doing that, I was able to eliminate one of the internal pulls, which simplified things a little bit on the inside. And that's all I did. One small change completely transformed the look of the seat. So when it came to lay out the diamond pattern, you'll notice I'm not using a custom double diamond stencil or anything fancy like that. All I have was this standard single diamond template, and I didn't want to just eyeball it because that's burned me in the past. So instead, I started by placing one diamond dead center on the panel and drawing it out clean. That gave me a reference point to build everything else off of. From there, it's just about expanding outward and keeping everything consistent. For sizing, each diamond is about 2¼ inches wide and 4 inches tall from point to point. And for the spacing, I kept it just under a 1/2 inch, close enough to be tight with a little bit of separation. And that separation is what really makes this work. The reason I went with a double diamond layout, with those parallel lines in between, it gives each section a little bit more definition, so when the light hits it, you get stronger shadows and more depth. And in my opinion, it just ends up looking a lot more refined. It's a small detail, but it makes a massive difference. And based off of my experience, if I've ever given a customer an option between regular diamonds and double diamonds, 9 times out of 10, they always pick double diamonds because they just look that good. One thing I couldn't stop thinking about after bringing this seat home was that this used to be in somebody's car. Like, this wasn't just some random piece of junk. Somebody sat in this thing every day, commuting, taking road trips. Who knows how many hours were spent sitting in this thing. And now it's in my garage, getting completely gutted. And when I was pulling the seat out, it honestly felt a little bit weird. It's like I wasn't just taking apart a car. It felt more like I was harvesting it. And if you think about it like a body, the seats are probably something like the lungs. Like, they're an absolute necessity for the car to function. So yeah, it felt like I was grave robbing just a little bit. It did make me wonder what this thing's been through. But something that was oddly satisfying about this was the smell. It smelled honestly pretty good. It had that really old, nostalgic, like old boat kind of smell. But then I thought about it a little bit more. What am I actually smelling here? Because realistically, how many farts do you think this thing has absorbed over the years? Statistically speaking, someone has to have been in a situation mid-road trip, terrible decision at a gas station, no bathroom for 30 miles. So this seat has probably been through some things. But the more I worked on it, the more I actually started to like it. And at first, I just picked randomly what I was going through the motions, no real plan, no real attachment. But somewhere along the way, it started to change. And once I got into the sewing stage, I could finally visualize really what this thing was going to look like. And that's when I knew I was actually excited to keep it. Now, while it was starting to look pretty good, one thing I did know for sure was I didn't want this thing to just sit. I wanted to actually use it. But figuring out how to use it was my next problem. Now that the seat base is fully sewn up and finished, moving on to the backrest is basically the same process all over again. So I'm not going to sit there and bore you through another full 10-minute breakdown like I did with the seat base, because at this point you probably already know how it goes. While the shape is a little bit different, the steps don't change. It is still the same process. I lay out my match marks, I cut out all the original pieces, and I make sure I'm putting it on good pieces of the leather. Then I cut out those pieces and I draw out the diamond panel the exact same way I did before. I transfer everything to sew foam, stitch it all together, and boom, done. The backrest is finished. And with the headrest eliminated, it makes the whole process even more straightforward. Now that all the hard work is done, this is honestly the part I look forward to the most. Getting to put everything back together and seeing how it actually turns out. Because at this point, I know I followed the steps correctly, all of my match marks lined up, everything went together smoothly, and the upholstery itself came out the way I wanted. So I'm genuinely excited at this point to see how it looks once everything gets pulled tight. And I'm not gonna lie, it is incredibly satisfying to finish a project like this from start to finish. Especially when I didn't really have a plan going into it. I just picked a seat, started working on it for no real reason other than boredom, and somehow turned it into something I actually care about. There's something really rewarding about that, starting with nothing and figuring it out, and as I'm watching it come together, I'm really excited for what I have planned for it. One thing I did notice though, what some people might call a mistake, I kind of see as a little bit of character. There are a few small imperfections on the leather. There's some stretch marks and some natural blemishes. Nothing major, but they are there. And depending on the quality of the leather you use, you'll see more or less of that. Now, because this wasn't the most expensive material in the world, I actually had this thing sitting in my garage for a little bit, but I honestly really like it. Those little marks are just a part of the material story in my opinion. It came from a real animal and it lived a real life, and those details are just a part of what makes it interesting. So to me, that adds character. And with everything wrapping up, there's really only a couple things left before the seat is completely finished. I just need to go back in, put all the plastics back on, clean up all the pencil marks, and give everything one final once over to make sure nothing got missed. It's one of those last little cleanup stages where it doesn't really feel like work anymore. It just feels like putting everything back in its final place. And once that's done, congratulations, the seat is now finished. So looking at the final seat, you can see a few of the stretch marks and blemishes I was talking about earlier on that left side. But honestly, other than that, I am super happy with how this came out. And if I'm being honest, I kind of like how those blemishes are there because it proves that it actually came from a real animal. I knew going into this that the double diamonds was going to be a pretty cool idea, but seeing it fully done honestly makes it look so much better. I really like how the light hits each diamond, giving it that shadow and highlight, really adding that depth. And overall, I think this is going to be a pretty solid addition to my silly little garage setup. So I'm sure you're dying to know what I'm actually going to use this seat for, and I'm super happy with how it turned out. I would hate for this thing to just sit in the corner of my garage. So my plan is I'm going to screw a piece of plywood essentially to the bottom of this seat where this thing is bolted in the floor originally, and I'm gonna use that board and just basically screw an office chair base to it, and I'm going to turn this into my new sewing machine chair, because what I'm currently using is a joke. It is actually a broken chair from my dining table set. It's like super wobbly, so this will be one hell of an upgrade. I'm honestly super happy with how this looks. I am pumped. I mean, I can't think of a better fitting sewing chair than something like this. So, yeah, I'm super happy with how it turned out for something I just kind of did randomly. So, let me know in the comments what you think. I really appreciate you for watching this video. If you made it this far, you're thebomb.com, and I will see you guys in the next one.